Good evening, race fans, and welcome back to another round of the Metro Ford Cup Series here at the Old Bastards Racing League. Today, we're at the virtual Kansas Speedway, where we're going to decide who is going to make it into the final round of Chase playoffs. We've got 8 drivers still in contention. Josh Robinson has locked his way in with a win at Texas Motor Speedway last week. So you've got 7 drivers battling for 3 spots here today at Kansas. It's going to be 160 laps around the slippery speedway, and looking forward to what these drivers can do as they head out for single car qualifying. Well, let's take a look and see who may be out on track already. We've got Mike Titanium Everhart, the number 17 machine, out on track. Now, I believe it was Clint Rice in the 108 that actually showed fastest in practice. But since he is a triple-digit number, he will not be going out for qualifying. As a reminder to our viewers, the triple-digit drivers are newer drivers here, or maybe returning drivers for the Old Bastards Racing League Metro Ford Cup Series. So they've got to meet the minimum races required to show they're nice, clean racers before they can go and qualify with the big dogs. Watching Titanium to see what he can put down in the number 17 machine. Blasting around in that Chevrolet here today. Now, speaking of points, championships, and all the other fun stuff, they do have the Manufacturers Cup in play as well here for the Metro Ford Cup Series. Right now, it's Toyota out in front with 1284 points. Chevrolet has 1260. And then Ford rounds out the Manufacturers Cup with 1129 points. Steve the Mule Thompson puts it on top of pole so far with a 31.23 on his opening lap. We'll see if he can improve on that as Titanium takes his second time lap. His first was a 31.6. Does he improve on that? And he does with a 31.46. Brian Lynch also out on track in the number 15 machine. And it's going to be interesting what we see here today. These drivers, or the Advents, I should say, always set up the tracks as hot as almost physically possible. And the best way it's described by the drivers is the track is very hot, slick towards the top groove. And it's got pretty serious tire wear, and pit road, if we get our green flag stops here today, is going to be a little bit exciting. And kind of the general odds-on bet here today was expecting 1 or 2 cautions early on. So we'll see what happens, and we'll give you an update on the fuel window as these drivers go out. Meanwhile, Lynch comes around for his fastest timed lap, or his first timed lap in the number 15 Hooters back Chevrolet. Thompson still holding on to that pole position. He got down to 31.19. As let's see what Lynch can do. His first lap was a 31.67. He's got to find about a half a second to get up in pole position to battle with Steve Thompson, Greg McDaniel, Dakota Pischke, our top 3 here in qualifying. But we still have a lot of drivers that usually hang back and wait a little bit. Historically, Team Miata drivers, Tom Ogle, Andrew Hess, Josh Robinson, they usually go out fairly late in qualifying. As Brian Lynch will bring it out after clicking off a 31.62. Let's check in on Joe Brown in the number 21 Toyota Camry. As Brown will start his first time lap, he's still got a fair amount of drivers that have not put down qualifying times yet. Now, it is a 10-minute single car qualifying session. So for the guys that have not gone out yet, they're waiting to see what the track temp may do. If maybe it'll lower a degree or two and maybe find some more speed out of the machines. But it's always a weighted risk, not wanting to wait too long. So if you do have a bobble in qualifying, you still have enough time to put down your 2 fastest laps. As we watch Joe Brown, his opening lap, let's see what it may read as. Fairly quick, a 31.67, good enough for 11th in a field of about 30 drivers here today. think we've only got 2 or 3 digit, triple digit numbers. No, we've got a handful here today. We've got Clint Rice in the 108, he was fastest in practice. We've got Kevin Cormier in the 112. We've got Michael Watts, returning member, in the 199, and Joey Buscemi in the 128. So 4 different triple digit numbers here today. Always fun to watch how those guys progress as they grow as drivers here at the Metro Ford Cup Series. Joe Brown with a 31.37, good enough for 6th. Milligan drops a 31.24. That'll be good enough for 4th in qualifying. And we still have about 14 drivers that have not put down times yet and have not rolled out of pit lane. On track, it's just Al Turner and Joe Brown at this time. But you've got Tom Ogle, John Hastings, Ken Huff, Andrew Hess, Dode Hoskins, Scales, MacArthur, Crisco, Robinson, Bosworth, Gear, all not going out yet. As Robinson, number 23 machine, was our winner last week. He has locked himself into the Chase playoffs to make it to the next round. Tom Ogle also looks like he's getting ready to go out. Yes, he is. Ogle and the number 11 White Claw Pumpkin Spice number 11 Toyota Camry will roll out on track. And let's see what he can do here today. Ogle and his teammates usually very good at qualifying, always waiting to go out. As right now out on track, Tom Ogle, Dwayne MacArthur, Robert Crisco all making their way out for qualifying. Robinson still hasn't put down a time yet either, your winner of last week. Maybe he's going to watch and see what his teammates can do. Because again, there's only 3 spots left to make it into the final round of Chase playoffs, where we're going to take the 4 fastest and most consistent drivers, and they will be battling for a championship here at the Metro Ford Cup Series. It's been a very long, fun season with the guys so far since we came on as their broadcasting partner, and we're already at round 35 of the season. Next week we go to Martinsville before the championship is decided November 7th at Phoenix Raceway. Let's watch Ogle. His opening lap was good enough for 15th. He will try and squeeze out some more time out of that number 11 Toyota Camry. Now on track, we've got Scales, Hoskins, Crisco all doing their time laps. Let's see what Ogle can do. A 31.26. As right as that, we say that Dwayne MacArthur puts it on pole with a 31.17, edging out his friend and teammate Steve Thompson by 0.02 of a second. Checking our friend Hoskins, see what he can do in qualifying. His opening lap was good enough for 8th place in the fluorescent green number 66 Ford Mustang with a 31.32. We'll see what his second timed lap will be. As Hoskins makes his way around, does he improve on a 31.32? He does not. A 33.23 that time by Andrew Hess out on track in the number 54 machine. As well as Josh Robinson. Robinson has come back down to pit road though. He may have bobbled his run here. Hess at the number 54 crosses the line for his very first time with a 31.64, qualifying 17th on his out lap, or first time lap, I should say. But is Robinson going to have enough time to put down a qualifying run here? He returned to pit road, maybe making some changes or maybe with a big bobble, and he's going to have to try once more. Let's see what Hess can do on his final flying lap. He's got to beat a 31.16 from MacArthur to qualify in the tippy top spot. And he gets close with a 31.21. Good enough for 3rd. We're going to cycle the camera over to Robinson, number 23 machine, your race winner from last week. Robinson's not going to have the qualifying run he wanted here with that bobble. His first lap was not counted. And generally we see the fastest lap times from our competitors on their second timed lap, as that's going to be Robinson. Crosses. What does he do? And he's going to have to settle for 6th, and the number 23 machine barely making it in time. As we're going to go ahead and get our drivers gridded up. Let's take a look at tonight's grid. Starting on pole, Dwayne MacArthur, the fast Canadian in the 97. You got Steve the Mule Thompson starting 2nd in the number 67. Andrew Hess in the 54 starting 3rd. Greg McDaniel in the number 30 starting 4th. Dakota Pischke in the number 1 starting 5th. Josh Robinson in the 23 starting 6th. Patrick Milligan in the number 18 starting 7th. Scales in the 8 will be starting 8th. Tom Ogle in the number 11 starting 9th. Al Turner in the 76 starting 10th. Dode Hoskins in the 66 starting 11th. Mike Schrader in the number 4 machine will be starting 12th. You've got Joe Brown in the 21 starting 13th. Gary Kipfer in the 68 starting 14th. Henry Visaw in the 26 starting 15th. Mike Titanium Everhart in the number 17 will be starting 16th on today's grid. Lee Warsdale in the 99 starting 17th. Brian Lynch in the number 15 starting 18th. Jonathan Green in the 37 starting 19th. Roger Runyon Sr. in the 71 starting 20th. Robert Crisco in the number 28 starting 21st. Clint Rice in the 108 starting 22nd. Ken Huff will be starting 23 on today's grid. Joey Buscemi in the 128 starting 24th. And then we'll cycle it back one more time where it's going to be Michael Watts in the 199 starting 25th. John Hastings in the 32 starting 26th. Kevin Cormier in the 112 starting 27th. Todd Bosworth in the 42 starting 28th. And Dean Gear in the 92 will round out our 29 driver grid here today. As we're going to get ready to roll out, we're still waiting on a couple drivers to make it to their grid. Bosworth and Gear are not on pit road yet. Or not on the grid, I should say. It's going to be 160 laps amongst our drivers. Estimated fuel window is about lap 58 to 63 is the max they can stretch it out. But as we know, tire wear is probably going to be the biggest factor here at Kansas today. As all eyes are on the front row, it's going to be two teammates, Dwayne MacArthur, Steve Thompson, side by side. Getting ready to get this party started. Ken Huff has returned back to pit road. Number 46 machine maybe having some sort of issue. Pace car is in. Here we go. And the green flag flies. We're going to send our drivers out and see what's going to happen. Thompson tucks in behind his teammate MacArthur. Andrew Hess in the 54 machine is going to lead Greg McDaniel. Greg McDaniel has coming from Dakota Pischke early on. Pischke looking the inside line of McDaniel. You've also got Milligan on the outside line of that E-Metro Ford back number 18 machine, seeing what's going to happen here. Now, generally, you can expect these guys to push hard for a few laps before the tire wear starts to come in, and that allows them to maybe get away with some gutsy passes, pick up some spots early on in the run. As up front, Thompson goes back to the inside line of MacArthur to take over the race lead. Andrew Hess right in tow of the number 54 machine, so now Thompson will get some laps led, up one spot from where he started here. And coming into today, there was 8 contenders in this round of Chase playoffs. 7 have locked their way in already. Dwayne MacArthur, Thomas Ogle, Andrew Hess, Patrick Milligan, Steve Thompson, Brian Lynch, Gary Kipfer, all still in the chase here. But that's 7 drivers battling for the 3 remaining spots as Robinson has already locked his way in. Ogle in the number 11 machine. He is up 3 spots from where he started here today. Currently running 6th on track, right behind Greg McDaniel and Dakota Pischke. He's going to look at the inside line with McDaniel, make it happen. Now trying to chase down Pischke in the number 1 machine. But McDaniel's not going to yield on the spot that easy. He's going to keep Ogle glued to that inside lane. And that may hurt Ogle's tires throughout the long run here. Meanwhile, Milligan and the number 18 machine's looking for a way by, but taking his time. Robinson, number 23, is down 2 spots, currently running 8th on track. But Robinson is already locked into the chase contention. So a win here would just be padding the stats more so than increasing his chances. And Chase has already made the cut to the next round. Ogle gets the spot by McDaniel. Milligan also looking at the inside line. Gets by McDaniel now side by side with Ogle. Milligan on the inside line in the green number 18. Ogle on the outside line in the pumpkin spice painted Toyota Camry. Steve Thompson, he's got about a half-second advantage over second place in teammate Wayne MacArthur. As now Milligan will slot in behind Ogle to see if they can make some strides up through the field. We're going to cycle it back to about the 13th, 14th place spot as you watch Gary Kipfer and Mike Schrader go side by side. Right behind them, you've also got Titanium Everhart and Clint Rice battling for position. These guys are too wide all over the racetrack, picking up some spots here and there when they can. But nobody wanting to push too early here and kill off those tires. Because historically the name of the game is long runs here at the Metro Ford Cup Series. It's kind of the norm. It's very rare we see these races punctuated by cautions. Last week, where Robinson won the event, 200 laps, we went 0 cautions for the duration of the event. If you're on board with Gary Kipfer watching how spread out the field is, everybody picking a different line, but Kipfer's got Hoskins glued to his outside door. Last week at Texas, we had 200 laps clean, 3 different leaders and 8 different lead changes over the course of the race. But again, it was Robinson, Hess, and MacArthur that went 1, 2, and 3. We're going to cycle back up front where we're watching Steve Thompson leading this race with his teammate and friend Dwayne MacArthur right to go. Andrew Hess from 54 Machine is going to keep these top 3 drivers in check and keep them within striking distance because he knows right behind him you've got Tom Ogle and Dakota Pischke trying to work together to get their way up to the lead pack and maybe put some pressure on the top 3. As right now Thompson, MacArthur, and Hess are out there just cruising. Planning on a long green flag run if they can help it. Mike Schrader must have had a bobble in number 4 machine as he is now down 11 spots in his Ford Mustang, and he will be pressured by Lee Warsdale, Roger Runyon, Joey Bishimi, all in the mix here. Now let's check on our current fastest triple-digit number. That will be Clint Rice in the 108 machine. He's gotten around Kipfer and now racing against Hoskins in the fluorescent green AARP back Ford Mustang. Hoskins always one of the easiest drivers to spot out there with that paint scheme. And very consistently a top 10 finisher here for the Metro Ford Cup Series. Here comes Rice, the newcomer, looking to the inside line of Hoskins. Now Rice didn't join this season all too long ago. I want to say this is his 4th or 5th race at the Metro Ford Cup Series. He joined after seeing one of our broadcasts here and goes, hey, I fit the minimum age requirement. I like to think I'm a clean driver. I want to come out there and race some other like-minded guys, and doing a great job so far in his debut here. Just trying to click off those minimum races and get that coveted double-digit number. checking. I believe this is Rice's 5th start. It is with the Metro Ford Cup Series. His highest finish so far was a 9th at the Charlotte Roval. He's done a pretty fantastic job keeping that 108 machine out of trouble as he earns his reputation here. We're going to cycle the camera back up front as I believe Andrew Hess and Dwayne MacArthur are battling for that 2nd place spot. Hess looking to the inside line. He's going to get a nose under MacArthur. Let's see if MacArthur has a little bit more speed going down the backstretch because he does have the draft advantage of Thompson right ahead of him. But this is allowing Thompson to stretch his legs ever so slightly, extending his lead to a little over half a second as MacArthur and Hess are punching a big old hole through the air. And that's also going to allow Hess's teammate Tom Ogle to catch up into the mix. And you might see these guys start working together. Schrader, the number 4 machine, we talked about him having potential problems as he does come down pit road on lap 14. Maybe trying to get some comparison on that car. If he had a bobble, maybe tag that outside wall. We didn't see anything on the live timing report of any incidents. But if you give that wall a hard enough tail tap, it can definitely affect your aero damage or your aero throughout the duration of a run. MacArthur is still trying to fend off Hess. Tom Ogle taking advantage. He is getting closer and closer to the back bumper of his teammate and the number 54 machine, Andrew Hess, who is 3rd on track. Oh, and then Hess has a bit of a shimmy there. The track can be so greasy in these hot conditions. MacArthur seems to be holding on to it, defending Andrew Hess. Hess, who's been stuck on that low line for a few laps in a low, maybe cooking up a little bit more tires here. And something to point out, you've got 3 Team Yada drivers running 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Hess, Ogle, and Robinson trying to link up together to help out their team chances. Now Robinson's already locked his way into the chase playoff. Excuse me, but Hess and Ogle may need a little bit of support. Robinson about 6/10 off of his teammate Tom Ogle. MacArthur running 2nd. He's about 3/10 off his teammate Steve Thompson, who's comfortably running out front. A lot of clean air on the front of that number 67 Toyota Camry, so he doesn't have to worry about much besides hitting his marks, keeping an eye on tire management and fuel management. As Andrew Hess still going to try and make a move on MacArthur, looking for a way through here. And let's see if Hess can make something happen. That inside line so tough to get momentum formed up, as your car naturally wants to drift high out of the corner, especially as the run progresses on these tires. And if there's a big, bright red and white number 97 machine in your line, there's not much you can do besides check up ever so slightly to avoid getting into the side of one of your friends. And these guys are renowned for how clean the racing is here at the Metro Ford Cup Series. They've got a maximum IPL system, which I'm a huge fan, the incident points per lap. So over the course of the season, after 4 races, it starts calculating your IPL. And if you are above that IPL, you can receive EOLs or possibly be disqualified from a race if you consistently find yourself in harm's way week in and week out. Hess still right on the bumper of MacArthur, less than 2/10 behind him. Ogle also in the mix here. Seems as if Robinson may be able to catch up to this lead pack as well. As the more the drivers go side by side, the easier it allows those drivers behind them to catch up. and maybe make it a 5, 6, 7 car party instead of the current top 4 you have right now. Andrew Hess on the inside line of MacArthur going into turns 3 and 4. Let's see who has the most momentum, as it is Thompson, MacArthur, and Ogle running that higher groove here today. Hess has been one of the few drivers that consistently stays on the bottom line. If you're on board with Andrew Hess, let's see if you see MacArthur sneak up on that right-hand side. Is now Hess is going to be looking out his right side mirror. There he is. MacArthur will be about a half car behind. MacArthur working the side draft, telling Hess, you're going to have to work a little bit harder. I'm not giving it up that easy. As here comes Hess once more on the inside line. Now Robinson and Ogle have linked up in 4th and 5th. Two teammates that can be a little bit dangerous for the rest of the field here if they start working together and strategizing. Now, historically, you see Thompson and MacArthur teammates usually cycle on the same strategy. Team Miata, they're kind of a little bit different. You've got Ogle and I believe it's Robinson. Well, I take it back. Normally 2 out of 3 of the Team Miata drivers, Ogle, Robinson, and Hess, are usually on the same pit strategy. But there's always one guy in Team Miata that's willing to try something a little bit different and see how it's going to work out. MacArthur still holding on to 2nd place from Hess, but look at this. He's stacked up the field with 3 teammates right behind him. And that may have helped his teammate Thompson out ever so slightly to extend his gap. But if that pack of 3 to 5th drivers, Hess, Ogle, Robinson, link up and start really working together, they may be able to charge through the field here. Again, the estimated pit window here today is between lap 58 to 63. So that may be a 2-stop race for the guys. We'll have to see. And I gotta say, that's probably one of my favorite part about broadcasting events that historically have long green flag runs, is that you really get to see these guys shine on both driver talent and pit strategy. We've seen races won or lost, and now we're in possibility where you can see championships won or lost on pit road. It is not abnormal for 1 or 2 drivers to maybe botch their pit entry, have some sort of speeding penalty, or try a different strategy that either works magnificently or the opposite. MacArthur seems to have caught back up to his teammate Steve Thompson, leaving about a 3/10 gap between himself and Andrew Hess. Let's look for other notable battles on track. You've got Jonathan Green trying to catch up to Crisco, number 28 machine. And let's talk about our current hard charger, Michael Watts, returning member in the 199 machine. He is up 13 spots in his Toyota Camry, working his way up into 12th after not being able to qualify with that triple-digit number. He's got Clint Rice in tow, another triple-digit number, who is following the veteran in disguise and working up through the field. Rice is up 9 spots from where he started here today. We've also got Al Turner leading a pack of drivers with Joe Brown and Scales in tow. But let's go back, as now we've got a battle for 3rd. Andrew Hess has taken over the spot from MacArthur, and now Tom Ogle's going to try and make his way through as well. Robinson, number 23 machine, he's most likely to give support to either Ogle or Hess, trying to help out his teammates after he's locked in. You've also got Milligan in the mix here, the number 18 Ford E-Metro Ford-backed Mustang. MacArthur will try and battle back with Hess. Hess still comfortably sitting in second. Now everybody's running almost identical lap times here in the top 5. Milligan's worked his way around Robinson. And are we going to see Andrew Hess battle for the lead here against Steve Thompson? Always a fine line of tire management and holding yourself back from pushing. We've got Michelle here. She's cheering on Dakota Pischke in the number 1 machine. Dakota currently 7th on track, but he's still within striking distance of these lead pack drivers. He's about 4/10 back from Josh Robinson, who is the tail driver in this top 6 driver train here for the lead. So if he can keep the draft, he's still within striking distance of the top 6. As we are 33 laps into this tire run, already drivers are about 2 seconds off their fastest lap of the race. Great example of that, Steve Thompson, your race leader. His fastest lap of the race was a 31.31. His last time by a 33.43. So the pace will be rapidly slowing for all of these drivers. As here comes Pischke catching up to both Milligan and Robinson, who are involved in their own battle for that 5th place spot. Jonathan Green, the number 37 machine, he's coming down pit road on lap 34, I believe it is. Maybe going for a 3-stop strategy here today. Not quite sure what the call is going to be. I would be willing to wager most drivers are going to try and make it a 2-stop race, barring any cautions. As Milligan takes over the 5th place spot once more from Robinson, that's going to allow Dakota Pischke to catch up to Robinson as well and interject himself in this top 6 battle. Jonathan Green rolls out of pit road. Looks like he took 4 fresh tires and a tank of gas. Jonathan Green in pit road for a very long time, 43 seconds. He must have had some sort of damage on that machine. As you were watching the 3-car battle for 5th between Milligan, Robinson, and Pischke. Just ahead of them, you've got Ogle and MacArthur battling for that 3rd place spot. And up front, Steve Thompson, Andrew Hess battling for the lead. So great racing all across the track here today. Now Robinson trying to put a move on Milligan. Because again, all these guys are battling for the next spots, the next chase round where they can make it in. We're only taking 3 more drivers as Robinson has locked himself in. So as it sits, it's Thompson, Hess, MacArthur, Ogle, Milligan. Let's see if Pischke's in this mix as well. No, Pischke is outside the chase playoffs. So he's racing for glory here today and can no longer make it into the next round of chase playoffs, but he's here to race. So we're kind of keeping an eye on the top 3 and see who may bring it home here and possibly bring home a win and lock themselves into the next round. As now Milligan making some moves. He gets around Tom Ogle, takes over the 4th place spot, and now he will slot in behind MacArthur. As it is Thompson, Hess, MacArthur, Milligan, Ogle rounding out our top 5, but once again Ogle and MacArthur are going to go back and forth here. Milligan on the outside line, Ogle on the inside line. Kipfer comes down pit road for an early stop on lap 41. As Milligan and Robinson are battling hard here. This is a tough time to be battling. You're 42 laps in. The cars have tightened up to almost an extreme amount. You're over 2 seconds off your fastest lap of the race. And now Ogle will get passed by Pischke. Pischke moves in the top 6th spot. Wonder if Ogle is really feeling the effects of tire wear here as he was charging up to the field. Up battling in podium contention, but now will drop back to 7th. Still up 2 spots from where he started here today. As we once again watch Robinson and Milligan battling hard for that 4th place spot. Now this has allowed your top 3 drivers of Thompson, Hess, and MacArthur to extend their lead over this second pack of drivers to about 1 second. As Hess has been glued to that bottom lane all the way around here. As MacArthur also staying with it. So again, less than 5/10 really separating your top 3 drivers here. Thompson, Hess, and MacArthur. They've got about a 1 second break between themselves and 4th place Josh Robinson. Robinson in 4th. He's leading around Milligan, Pischke, and Ogle in a pack of their own, the second pack of drivers. Michael Watts, the 199, he's got some damage on the front of that Toyota Tundra. If you look at the front right, it's pretty crinkled up. As he's starting to fall back down the running order ever so slightly. Everhart makes his way by, gets into the top 13, and quickly puts a gap on Watts. I would assume that aero damage on the front of that 199 is going to be really hurting his long run here. Hoskins and Crisco go side by side as well in the battle for 15. Right behind them, they've also got Henry Besaw in the number 26 machine looking for a way through the FedEx-backed Chevrolet. Henry Besaw looking for an outside move against Crisco. Brian Lynch comes down pit road as well. And this is the battle for 16th between Crisco and Besaw. Crisco trying to stay in the draft of Hoskins just ahead of him. As you go onward with Besaw, you may see Crisco sneak up the inside line here on the left side of your screen. They're running side by side. A great shot showing just how tight the racing is all across the track. Doesn't matter if it's the battle for 3rd, the battle for 13th. These guys are here to race hard and clean for the duration of the season. They do a great job of it all week long. Meanwhile, several drivers starting to pit. You've got Ken Huff, Brian Lynch, Roger Runyon all in pit road. Maybe planning on a 3-stop race here today. Back up front, Robinson has joined the lead pack, whittling away at that 1 second advantage that the top 3 drivers had. So let's see if Milligan, Pischke, and Ogle also catch back up to this group here, as now lap traffic will come into play for your race leader, Steve Thompson. This is where things get a little bit exciting for all of our drivers, as you've got a pack of lead drivers all battling hard, all very tight from when they first started their run. And you'll have drivers coming out of pit lane either just ahead of the race leaders or maybe a lap down with fresh rubber and able to charge through the field. As Andrew Hess looked like he was going to make a move on Thompson. I'm wondering if Thompson's signaling he's coming down pit road. And yes, Thompson will come down to the pit road, as well as Dwayne MacArthur, Patrick Milligan, Dakota Pischke, Tom Ogle, Greg McDaniel, all coming down. Hess, Robinson, Scales opt to stay out another lap. So it doesn't appear that they're using a full gas tank here. So let's see how long Hess and Robinson decide to stretch it out for, as everyone spent a whole lot of time battling hard here today. It'll be interesting to see how much tire saving they were able to do as they were blitzing through the field. Henry Besaw also comes down pit road. Dakota Pischke makes his way back out on track. Henry Besaw makes his way out of pit road as well. But the question is, how long is Hess and Robinson going to stretch it out for? Two teammates right nose to tail. Scales, Rice come down pit road on lap 53. And now Hoskins and Buscemi will also come down pit road, as well as John Hastings. So your top four are going to stretch out as far as they possibly can. Hess, Robinson, Everhart, and Wardsdale. As you're on board with Andrew Hess, right behind him you've got his teammate Robinson glued to the back bumper of the number 54 machine. As now your race leader, Andrew Hess, will come in. Robinson opts to stay out. That's that Team Miata strategy we talked about earlier, where everybody tries to do something a little bit different on the team. Sometimes they're all in sync, and sometimes they're switching it up. As it is Robinson, Everhart, and Wardsdale, the three drivers that have not come in yet. They're going to really stretch out that fuel run as long as they can. It looks like Robinson's signaling he's going to come in. He is. Let's see if Everhart, the number 17 machine, will follow in tow, but really stretching that fuel run out about 56 laps here today. So that should still make it a two-stop race for these drivers. How long is Titanium going to stretch it out for? Listen to the motor revs. It's either fuel saving or just extremely tight. His last time by a 33.99 compared to a 31.6 is his fastest lap of the race. And Titanium going to stretch out another lap as well as Lee Warsdale No, Warsdale comes in on lap 57. Everhart gonna stretch it out the duration of this run if he can, maybe hoping for a caution that'll put a whole lot of drivers down a lap and kind of reset the field here, but he's gonna stretch those legs, get through this run. Now, when we talked to our drivers, they said about 58 to 63 laps is the most you're gonna get, and 58 is the magic number for Mike Titanium Everhart. And let's see, that should put Steve the Mule Thompson as your race leader as he makes his way back by Everhart, who's down pit road. MacArthur second, Ogle third, McDaniel fourth, and I believe it'll be Joe Brown in fifth. Dakota Pischke had a little bit longer pit stop. He was in his stall for 22.8 seconds. Not sure if he had any problems. Milligan in his stall for 36 seconds. But it does not appear that any speed penalties were delivered to our drivers. As Thompson, I believe, will have lap traffic behind him, trying to see who that may be as we go on board with Wayne MacArthur, who is second place. I wonder if that's John Hastings in the 32. No, it's not Hastings. It's not Huff. Maybe Schrader? No, I'm not quite sure who that is right behind your race leader. It's the 128 of Buscemi, I believe. Buscemi trying to get his lap back. Buscemi came in a lap 53. Your race leader Thompson came in a lap 50. So Buscemi in the 128 just trying to get a lap back. Titanium coming out of pit road as well with his fresh set of Goodyears. He's going to try and get a lap back. As Buscemi gets clear of your race leader, Steve Thompson. Everhart will try and do the same here as quickly as he can. And MacArthur second place on track. He's got Tom Ogle breathing down his neck as Ogle looks at the inside line. Trying to take over that second place spot from MacArthur. Ogle looking to the inside line. Will he have it coming out as he's got a lot of lap traffic to use that draft off of? But MacArthur seems to have had a little bit better run out of turn 4, cutting back in front of Ogle. That's just kind of an odd mix of lead lap cars and lap cars that are trying to get a lap back. Buscemi has comfortably made his way past race leader Thompson, getting a lap back. Everhart is going to do the same in the number 17 machine. We got Robert Hill Jr. here cheering on Hess. Always good to see Robert. Hess currently 5th on track in the number 54 machine. He's down 2 spots from where he started tonight, but still relatively close to Greg McDaniel in the number 30 machine, who's running 4th here today. Hess, one of those drivers looking for a great finish here today to try and lock his way into the next round of Chase playoffs. Again, we're only taking 3 more drivers as Robinson has locked his chances in for the final round of Chase playoffs with his win last week at Texas. Ogle still staying glued behind Dwayne MacArthur. As you've got one driver, I believe that's going to be Hastings, the number 32 machine, who's a lap down from this current battle for second place. Dwayne MacArthur, Tom Ogle. MacArthur may have extended his gap ever so slightly to about a half second, but let's see if Ogle's staying in that draft can capitalize and maybe just try and play the tire wear game, as the next expected stop for these drivers is around the lap 100 mark, unless they decide this is going to be the run where they stretch it out ever so slightly. Out of 29 drivers that entered here today, we still have 22 on the lead lap, where I believe 2 drivers have retired and 2 did not start. Ken Huff and Mike Schrader. Huff has been in the pits for about 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Schrader appears to have called it a night. And then Bosworth and Gear did not starts here today. Thompson, he's got about a 1.5 second gap over second place MacArthur. And MacArthur, he doesn't have any breathing room as Tom Ogle is hot on his heels in that number 11 Toyota Camry. All 4, if not 5, let me check, see if Greg McDaniel is in the Chase playoff. No, McDaniel is not, so the top 4 drivers are all battling for the next round of Chase playoffs. Thompson, MacArthur, Ogle, Hess, all in the mix, trying to make the cut where we take 3 more drivers. Other notable battles, Joe Brown trying to track down Josh Robinson, following in line with the number 23 machine. As Robinson's going to make his way around Greg McDaniel, trying to squeeze out that 5th place spot. But Robinson, he's going to be about 3.2 seconds back from this lead pack. He's got Andrew Hess about 3 seconds ahead of him. And then up front, Ogle and MacArthur still going at it here. Only 21 laps into this fuel and tire run. But as the run progresses, the cars get tighter and tighter, and it gets much harder to make any moves as you see Ogle take about a half lap to get back within striking distance of MacArthur. So if you take that jab and it doesn't quite work or doesn't quite land home, it'll take a little while to build up that momentum, and then that will allow other drivers to maybe capitalize. As Andrew Hess, number 54 machine, he is right back to Tom Ogle. Scales goes off track, not seeing any big incidents. He will hold on to it. We'll take a quick look at that replay, see what happened to him. Ooh, tags the outside wall, goes careening through the tri-oval. Scales, very good save, able to hold on to it, and the caution doesn't fly. So well done to Scales with a massive save here today. Now we've got a 3-car battle for second. It's Andrew Hess, Tom Ogle, Dwayne MacArthur. Hess looks like he's going to get by his teammate Ogle, diving down the inside line, following MacArthur through. Now Hess has about 5 lap newer tires than either Ogle or MacArthur. He came in a lap 55 for his pit stop, while MacArthur, well really Thompson, MacArthur, and Ogle all came in a lap 50. So maybe those 5 lap fresher tires are going to help Hess out here, as he's going to now battle with MacArthur, looking at the inside line. Can he make it stick as they come side by side out of turn 4? It looks like Hess is going to have the position here going into turn 1, but let's see if he has the momentum. And now Ogle will slide in behind his teammate Andrew Hess, number 54 machine. Not quite able to make the pass against MacArthur himself. MacArthur staying glued to the back bumper of Hess. diving into turns 3 and 4. Now McCarthy's been running that higher line relatively consistently. Hess on the inside line. And now Hess will have about a 3:10 gap over MacArthur as they cross the line. Hess's last lap was a 33.27. MacArthur with a 33.5. Meanwhile, your race leader, Steve Thompson, has continued to check out. He's about 1.7 seconds ahead over this 3-car pack of drivers. As now Ogle going to try and find a way around the fast Canadian and Dwayne MacArthur. MacArthur still holding on to about a 3/10 lead over Ogle, trying to hold on to that third place spot. Every position matters here for these final round of Chase playoffs to try and make it to the next stage and then battle for the championship. And that is going to be an interesting race. That's going to be at Phoenix on November 7th. And don't forget, next week we're going to Martinsville for 300 laps. And that could be either very, very good racing or a absolute rough night for several drivers, as the short track racing always gets a little bit exciting, a little bit dicey. We're going to look for some other notable battles out on track. I'm curious to see if Robinson is going to catch up to his teammate Tom Ogle. Right now, Ogle is about 1.2 seconds ahead of the number 23 Josh Robinson, who's running in 5th. It'll be interesting to see how that clean air affects Robinson, see if he can put down some faster laps. The last time by, Robinson was about a 10th faster than anybody inside the top 5 here. And we're expecting about 20 more laps left on this run from our race leaders. Everybody inside the top 4, save for Andrew Hess, came in lap 50. Hess came in lap 55, going for a little bit of an overcut, maybe coming out with fresher tires than the rest of the field to make up some ground. As we've got one driver who's a lap down, had a bit of a blinking issue. It wasn't Hess. Who is that on the inside line of Hess? I believe that may be Runyon in the number 71 machine. Yes, it is. Running on the inside line, trying to get low as he possibly can to allow the race leaders by uncontested, not wanting to accidentally mess up someone else's night or possibly his own. And now there's going to be all sorts of traffic for these drivers to play in. Robinson has caught up to his teammate Tom Ogle. Both drivers getting through lap traffic without any worries. So the question of the night is Robinson going to try and help out Ogle or Hess to get them into a better position or possibly help them out and get a race win? As I don't think he's going to try and pass his teammates, because that would hurt their chances of having most, if not all, of the team in the final round of Chase playoffs. It's going to be interesting to see what the strategy is here today, or if there is any team strategy. You may see Robinson come charging through the field and try and take 2 wins in a row. I'm curious to see how things pan out for Steve Thompson as well, your current race leader. He has not won a round here since June 27th, where he actually had 2 in a row. June 20th, he won at Nashville, and June 27th, he won at Pocono. So it's going to be very interesting to see if maybe Thompson can get that monkey off of his back and pick up another win here and work his way into the next round of Chase playoffs in the number 67 machine. He's about 1.6 seconds ahead of Andrew Hess as it stands. But he has the luxury and the fortune of being the first driver to come through traffic. He's going to come up on Scales and his Mandalorian painted machine. Scales currently running 20th on track down, 12 spots from where he started. It'll be interesting to see who's going to be able to navigate traffic the cleanest here. If Thompson will be able to cut through like a scalpel, and that may give him some more breathing distance, especially if Hess, MacArthur, Robinson, and Ogle maybe get tied up with traffic. But he does not want to lose the momentum he currently has. Scales goes down the inside line to allow Thompson by. And are we going to see Thompson stay on the same tire in pit strategy? He last came in on lap 50. Is he going to come in around lap 100, maybe try and stretch it out a little bit further so he's got some fresher rubber here at the end? That seemed to have worked well for Hess, who came in 5 laps later than his competition. Thompson cutting through traffic, not having any big worries, still about 1.8 seconds ahead of Hess. But it looks like Hess may be getting just the slightest amount of time here. Thompson's last time by a 33.5. Andrew Hess second place with a 33.39. So Hess is gaining some ground here. I'm not sure if that is traffic affecting Thompson, your race leader, or maybe the tire wear is starting to come into play for these guys, as Thompson has been out for 40 laps on this set of Goodyears. I believe that is that Cormier that we put a lap down. Yes, it is Kevin Cormier in the 112, the triple-digit driver. He's up 9 spots from where he started here today. And he is battling for a position with Scales, so that's even tougher for Thompson to do. He's driving through traffic, and these guys are in a race of their own. Everybody's trying to get their highest finishing position. And, I mean, racers race, so it's tough when you're a lead lap car trying to make their way through traffic. Generally, the gentleman's rule is you try and yield the line to your race leader. If you're involved in a battle for position, there's not much anyone can do. You just gotta hold on tight, pick your lines carefully, and hope everything falls in your favor. And that has cost Thompson some time, as now Hess is about 1.2 seconds back from your race leader. Robinson staying glued to Andrew Hess now. Robinson has passed both Ogle and MacArthur. I'm a little surprised to see Robinson charging through the field here, as he's not in worry of not making it to the next round of Chase playoffs, but it looks like he's going to try and make a move on his teammate Andrew Hess and take over that second place spot. Hess still holding on to it. Now both Hess and Robinson are roughly on the same tire strategy. Hess came in lap 55, Robinson on lap 56. As they are trying to find a way through traffic here. Because again, that is Cormier and Scales battling for a position themselves. Both Cormier and Scales go to the inside line, allowing Hess and Robinson access to that high line to try and carry some momentum onto the backstretch. Man, this is going to be interesting all the way in. So many drivers, again, 7 drivers trying to occupy 3 spots. We've got today at Kansas, and we've got next week at Martinsville to decide who's going to make the next round of chase. We're only taking 4 drivers. Robinson, who you're currently watching on screen, is already locked in after his most recent victory. But Thompson, Hess, MacArthur, Ogle, all inside the top 5, all within contention for the next round. Thompson still about 1.3 seconds ahead of Andrew Hess and Josh Robinson running second and third. If these drivers stay on the same strategy, you can expect Thompson to come in around lap 100. Hess and Robinson will stretch it out to about lap 110 before their next scheduled pit stop. As Hess now can barely see Thompson out of the front of his windshield. Having that rapid chase making it a little easier for these drivers, knowing that that position is within striking distance. But you've got to be careful not to burn up the tires. But I guess the good news is these guys get ready for their pit cycle. They know they don't have to worry about tire conservation too much in the closing laps of their fuel window. Now the longest we saw somebody stretch it out for was 58 laps. That was Lee Warsdale and Michael Everhart stretching out the duration of the run. As now Hess is going to be within 1 second of Steve Thompson for the first time in 15 laps. He does have lap traffic between himself and Thompson. That's going to be Robert Crisco, the number 28 machine. And it's going to be about 61 laps left in today's main event of the Metro Ford Cup Series. If you're looking for a new or used vehicle, check out MetroFord.com. They will get you financed no matter the situation. And I believe they also do home deliveries for their customers, so check them out. eMetroFord.com, some of the biggest selection of new and used trucks in the country, and a great fair pricing, and even better customer support. Check them out, eMetroFord.com. Currently leading this round of chase playoffs still Steve Thompson, holding on to that 1 second gap over Andrew Hess and Josh Robinson. 2 teammates are going to be working hard to get up there, get those 2 cars up in the mix. As Robinson is already locked in, he's going to want to try and help Hess to the best of his abilities, maybe pick up a win and get the free pass ticket. As how long is Thompson going to stretch it out for? He's at the lap 50 mark, so he's going a little bit further than he did on his opening lap. Crisco comes down pit road, number 28 machine. As now Thompson will make his way around. I believe that's going to be Titanium Everhart, the number 17 machine. Yes, it is, going into turn 1. Now Thompson will have Hoskins, the number 66 machine. But how far is Thompson going to stretch it out on fuel here? He's still holding about that 9/10 to 1 second advantage over second and third place Robinson and Hess. And Robinson and Hess did come in about 5 or 6 laps later than Thompson. If Thompson absolutely stretches it to the limit, he can make it to about lap 108 on fuel. Unless he starts massively fuel saving here. But Robinson and Hess are finding some pace, and now they're within 7/10 of a second of your race leader. Knowing that Thompson will have to come down pit road relatively soon, they know they can stretch it out a few laps later than the race leader. Again, Thompson looking for that first win in several months. Really wanted to secure his place in the next round. As now teammates Hess and Robinson will go side by side. Robinson takes over the P2 spot, and now they are within half second of your race leader, Thompson. I am surprised Thompson's staying out this far, but he knows if he can make it all the way through this fuel window, he'll be able to come out with the freshest set of tires available to him. Ogle comes in on lap 50 or 105, excuse me, in the number 11 machine for his second stop of the day. If we're correct, it's going to be a 2-stop strategy for most of these drivers. And here comes Robinson looking for another race lead here, trying to pick up the spot from Thompson. Robinson on the outside, Thompson on the inside. Thompson will come down pit road on lap 105. Robinson will take over the race lead with Andrew Hess in tow. Now we're expecting Robinson and Hess to be able to stretch it out to about lap 110 or 111 before they must come down and fuel up. Wayne MacArthur, Joe Brown also coming down pit road for their final planned stop of the evening. As let's see, Robinson and Hess still staying within about a second of each other. Greg McDaniel comes down pit road. It looks like Al Turner's going to stay out a little while longer. As you're starting to see all the drivers that came in on around the lap 50 mark have to come in sputtering on fumes at that point into the run. Robinson getting dangerously close to that outside wall coming out of turn 2 as the cars are really tightening up at this point in the run. Hess still staying with about 0.8 of a second of your race leader, Robinson. Two teammates running first and second. Going to be interesting to see when they take their final stop of the race. As we only have 3 drivers on the lead lap now, Robinson, Hess, and Turner, who have not came in yet. As the top 7 drivers have not completed their final pit stop of the night. Al Turner, the number 76 machine, he comes in on lap 108 for his final planned stop of the night. And look at that absolutely wild pack behind Robinson and Hess. That is a lot of drivers coming out with fresh rubber, trying to put some times down. Buscemi also comes down pit road in his 128 machine. As we pull up the live timing and scoring chart on the left side of your screen so you can see where your favorite driver is out on the circuit. As we were watching Andrew Hess in second. He's about to get pressured by Milligan, who's trying to get a lap back here. And this is where things get really exciting. A bunch of drivers on mixed tire sets coming out late into a run. Now Robinson and Hess the top two drivers on the lead lap that have not pitted yet. And they're going to get quickly swarmed by other drivers that are coming around with that fresh set of tires, able to put down some very fast lap times. Robinson's last time by was at 33.48. To give you an idea of how far off the pace they are, his fastest lap of the race was at 31.64. And now Robinson will come down pit road. I believe Hess will follow as well. Ooh, Hess with a little bit of a lock up there, crossing the entry cones, hopefully not getting a speeding penalty. And I believe this should put Thompson back as your race leader after Robinson and Hess complete their pit stops. Total pit lane time for these drivers has been about 45 seconds on the road. As Thompson will in fact come out ahead of Robinson and Hess. So Robinson, Hess will be out on track with 6-lap fresher tires than your top three of Thompson, MacArthur, and Ogle, who are fairly spread out except for Ogle and MacArthur. Now Thompson's got a pretty comfortable lead, about 4.7 seconds over MacArthur. And MacArthur's going to have his hands full with Tom Ogle. As we have slightly over 45 laps, these guys are going to have to be very mindful of their tire management, because they know that Robinson and Hess are going to be watching and coming out with that fresher set of tires. They should, in theory, have a little bit more traction left in reserve at the end here, as we will keep a very close eye on the lap times. Robinson moves his way back into fourth. Hess still seventh on track. As we watch the battle for second place between MacArthur and Ogle, still very close. Less than 2 car lengths separating these two drivers at most, lap after lap. And Ogle just staying glued to MacArthur here. Brown has made his way around Scales in the number 8 machine, as Brown, number 21, picks up his 6th position of the night, now running 7th after starting 13th. And another great battle has been going on all night long. Michael Watts in the 199 and Rice in the 108 have been glued together. The two triple-digit numbers are up 14 spots in the case of Watts' position, 10 in the case of Rice, running 11th and 12th out on track. And that is some big moves after not qualifying here today in such a stacked and talented field. To find yourself just outside the top 10 with two triple-digit numbers is a great run for both of these guys. You've also got Patrick Milligan, the number 18 machine, eyeing up the triple-digit numbers, seeing where he can get through. We're going to check back on Steve the Mule Thompson out front in charge. He's got a 4.5 second advantage over his teammate and friend Dwayne MacArthur, who's running second. MacArthur again has his hands absolutely full with Tom Ogle. Scales comes down pit road on lap 116. As Ogle staying right there with MacArthur. comes Robinson out of nowhere. He's going to interject himself into this party, taking over both all the way up to second position, getting around Ogle and MacArthur. Now that's going to be somebody to keep an eye on. He's on about 6 lap newer than either your race leader, Steve Thompson, or MacArthur and Ogle. Andrew Hess hasn't been able to come to the field quite as much, but now he's going to try and put pressure on Tom Ogle as he looks up the inside line. Almost making contact with his teammate Ogle. Hess has taken over the 4th place spot. Now he's going to try and put the pressure on MacArthur, the number 97 machine, to see if he can go up and give support to the number 23 of Josh Robinson. Thompson out front is going to be having pressure here soon, as he is only about 3.4 seconds ahead of Robinson. Hess makes his way around MacArthur, leaves the inside line. He's going to tuck in behind Gary Kipfer. Kipfer goes out to the apron to allow these drivers through, or try to allow these drivers through, as they go 3 wide through turns 3 and 4. It's Kipfer on the inside, Hess in the middle, MacArthur on the high line. Hess hits him with the old slide job. MacArthur will settle for 4th for at least one more lap, seeing if he can eye up a weakness in the number 54's armor. As this will be a game of navigating traffic. Now Hess is going to get around Hoskins, the number 66 machine. He's going to look at the inside line while Hoskins holds wide. I believe Hess will have it going into turn 3 here, getting through traffic a little bit better than MacArthur has been able to. We're going to go back up one more position, check on Josh Robinson, who is now only about 2.5 seconds behind your race leader, Steve Thompson. He's gained almost 2 seconds over the last few laps, as Thompson has his hands absolutely full with lap traffic. I believe that's going to be the battle for 11th right in front of your race leader between Michael Wise, Clint Rice, as well as Patrick Milligan has worked his way through. Thompson knows every time he gets caught up with traffic, that's going to make it a little bit easier for Robinson to find some pace, as now Robinson's only 2 seconds back, with 35 laps left to go in this feature event. Thompson gets by Rice. Now he's going to try and work on Watts as well in the 199 Toyota. Now Thompson only 1.3 seconds ahead of Josh Robinson and closing fast. Thompson's last time by was at 33.08. Robinson with a 32.69, as well as Hess clicking off at 32.69. As Thompson's going to hold on to it as long as he can. I'm not sure if that's traffic really hurting him here today, or maybe the tire wear. It's really tough to tell. Now Robinson's only on a 6-lap, a newer set of tires than Thompson, so not a huge difference. But over the course of a 50 to 55 lap run, that can really tighten these drivers up. Especially when you're having to play in traffic, makes it a little bit tougher. As off the left side of your screen, you can see Josh Robinson has it down to less than a second. Robinson is charging hard here as he makes his way around Rice, and now he's going to try and get by Watts as well on the right side of your screen. There's Robinson in the baby blue and white, number 23, trying to catch up to the black and yellow 67 of Steve Thompson. Robinson has been consistently 0.2 or faster per lap than Thompson, but it's tough to say how much of that could be the traffic really having a role here. As now Thompson has Patrick Milligan, the 10th place driver of the number 18 Ford Mustang, in front of him. Robinson still finding time. He's about 1,500ths faster than Thompson that last time by. Only about 30 laps left for to go for these guys. Who's going to have the tire wear here at the end? As the battle for the lead may be shaping up to start forming in the next couple of laps. Robinson less than a half-second behind your race leader, Thompson. Robinson still staying committed to that inside groove. Thompson running a mid to higher groove here today, maybe a little bit looser up top, helping the car rotate at this point in the run. As here comes Robinson, right on the back bumper of the number 67 machine, Steve Thompson. He's going to try to make it 2 in a row here for Chase playoffs. Even though he's already locked in, these guys want to win. They want to represent themselves and their sponsors well. Robinson staying glued to Thompson here. Not sure when we're going to see number 23 take a jab at the 67 machine, when he's going to try and set it up. Or he's going to maybe sit on the back bumper of Thompson, maybe force the race pace to be a little bit faster than Thompson wants to set it at this point and try and cook up the tires of the 67 machine. Robinson looking to the inside line. Thompson on that high line once more. Coming out of 3 and 4, I would assume Thompson will have the momentum here. But Robinson may have the preferred line going into 1 and 2 as Thompson has it at the line, but ever so slightly. Or is Robinson just measuring up Thompson to see when it will be the best spot on the track to make a move? Historically, you don't want to be the lead driver on the final lap, especially when you're running in such tough company, where everybody's so talented and so close on skill set. And only 26 laps left to go at the main event here, the Metro Ford Cup Series. Thompson still holding on to it. His last time by was at 33.51. Robinson with a 33.59. As they will have a whole lot of lap traffic to contend with here. Robinson still looking to the inside line of Thompson, not quite having the drive out of the backstretch that he wants, so he'll get back in the slipstream of the 67, following Thompson into turns 3 and 4. Once again, looking to the inside line, trying to get these cars to rotate this late in the run. Thompson holds on to it another lap. And meanwhile, these guys still have Patrick Milligan in front of them, running 10th on track. Milligan doing everything in his power to stay on the lead lap here. A top 10 amongst these drivers is nothing to scoff at, as the field is just so equally stacked from front to back. So many drivers are of the same skill set and pace. As both Thompson and Robinson will have to go the outside line trying to get around traffic here. Milligan's going to hold it down nice and tight on the inside line to try and allow these race leaders by, but this has allowed Andrew Hess as well, possibly back in the mix, as now Hess is only about 6/10 behind your race leaders. As we are all watching with bated breath to see what's going to happen up here in the top two. It's Thompson and Robinson putting on a show. Hess is now within a half-second distance of his teammate, the number 23 machine, and still within podium contention. I am excited to see what's going to happen here. Are we going to see Hess get up in the mix here and battle for these top two spots? Thompson looking for a win that can secure his lock-in for the next round of Chase Championships. Robinson trying to make it 2 in a row for bragging rights. As here comes Robinson up the inside line of Thompson. Will he make it stick? Or is Thompson going to have the momentum here to hold on to in that outside line? They're going to be side by side. Once more, Thompson will hold on to it. It's so tough to get the drive off that inside corner with the tire wear and wanting to drift up wide, but he's going to try it once more. Robinson on the inside, Thompson on the outside. And now you've got Andrew Hess, who's able to get a little bit closer, and he gets on the back bumper of the number 23, his teammate. Looks like Robinson had a bobble there, and that has allowed Thompson just a little bit of breathing room, as he's now 4/10 ahead of Robinson in the number 23 machine. And now it might be Robinson's turn to feel some pressure, as he's got his friend and teammate Hess in the number 54 machine, who's going to try and take over that second place spot as well. Now Robinson and Hess have to know if they end up battling side by side hard here in the closing laps, that will allow Thompson a chance to check out and run away with the win. So I'd imagine you'll see the 23 and the 54 running second and third, maybe try and work together a little bit to catch up to your race leader, Thompson. And if they can get around Thompson, then maybe start battling for the lead. Thompson cutting through traffic, but Robinson right on the rear bumper of Thompson here. As the traffic may accidentally slow down the lead pack just slightly to allow Thompson, Robinson, and Hess to squeeze this three-car battle for the win together. Less than 3/10 of a second separating our top three here with only 17 laps left to go. Robinson takes a peek at the middle line, thinks better of it, not wanting to go 3 wide as he gets around Al Turner, the number 76 machine. Robinson heavily putting the pressure on Steve Thompson. Now, originally, we had an in-car interview scheduled today with Robinson and the number 23 machine. The agreement was we'll hop over to his radio channel once we get the first caution come out. But we went this far. It's looking pretty good. We're going to go green all the way through. But I would wager Robinson will be happy foregoing the in-car interview if he can put it up on the podium once more, or possibly even bring home a second win in a row. as Hess doing his best to put a Chevrolet on the podium as the two Toyota drivers of Thompson and Robinson are out front. We still have that Manufacturers Cup in play here as well. And Hess is going to do everything he can to squeeze away some points from the points leader Toyota. Only 24 points separating Toyota from Chevy in the Manufacturers Cup. But I would dare say, even more importantly to Hess, is making it into the next round of playoffs. As these top three drivers still running nose to tail. Robinson maybe hinting to the inside move along Thompson. We've seen this move work before, but it's been tough for Robinson to make it stick with the tire wear. Now Andrew Hess is going to look to the inside line. And Hess and his teammate Robinson will briefly go side by side. Robinson will have the pace. Hess will not be able to make it happen without that draft support of the number 23 machine. As once again, less than 3/10 of a second, separating your top three drivers. As here comes Robinson and Thompson battling for the lead. Robinson on the inside line, Thompson on the outside line. Meanwhile, Andrew Hess, the number 54 machine's looking for any way around. He's going to get behind his teammate, the number 23 of Robinson, and see if he can lend his support. As this is tough for these drivers to be battling this hard with how the tire wear is playing a role. As they are roughly on 45 to 40 laps on a set of tires. The pace is way off, over 2 seconds off their fastest lap of the race. And so we're going to take you on board Andrew Hess and watch the side-by-side battle between Robinson and MacArthur up front. Hess, though, having a great night. Started off on third. It's been a bit of a roller coaster. But look at that. Here comes Robinson, makes contact with Thompson. Thompson looks like he came down. Hess is going to take over the race lead here with 10 laps left to go. Hess, your new race leader, just ahead of Thompson and Robinson. Robinson's fallen off the pace ever so slightly. Hess is going to make his way around traffic once more. I believe that is going to be Crisco in the number 26 machine. No, that is going to be Henry Besaw a lap down. So now Andrew Hess will be ahead by about a half second over Steve Thompson. Thompson's got about 6/10 over Josh Robinson in third. But Thompson is about to drive the wheels off of that number 67 spot to regain that race lead. Doesn't look like he had any aero damage on the side of that Toyota. As you're on board with Steve Thompson, number 67 Toyota Tundra pilot, he is about 4/10 off from Andrew Hess and about 3/10 ahead of Josh Robinson. After an incident that could have collected all three of your race leaders. Andrew Hess is going to hold on for dear life to that 5/6 second advantage he has over Thompson. And the yellow flag will come out with 8 laps left to go here. Let's see what brought that out, but that is going to be massively upsetting for the battle for the race. Kipfer and Hoskins get together. Kipfer goes for an absolute spectacular ride here. We're going to get one more view of that one because that was absolutely spectacular. Hoskins and Kipfer get together, and they both get absolutely launched. Kipfer flying through the air in the Reese's back, number 68. Hopefully he's not racing in VR today because he's going to be all sorts of sick after that one. And oh, what is this going to do for the race for the lead? I would imagine you're going to see these guys come down pit road. We've got 8 drivers on the lead lap. He who takes tires may win it here. Hess, Thompson, Robinson, MacArthur, Ogle, McDaniel, all coming down pit road. Joe Brown's going to come in. Now let's keep a close look here. Dakota Pischke also comes in. Who is going to take 2 tires and gamble a little bit? And who's going to take the safer route and take 4 tires as they all dive into their pit stalls? This may hurt the chances of Andrew Hess because we're going to have a final 6-lap shootout. As we're watching to see if anybody goes for a 2-stop strategy or 2-tire strategy. Looks like everybody's going to take 4 tires here. Andrew Hess will come back out in front. He will have Josh Robinson in tow. Steve Thompson will be 3rd, MacArthur 4th, Ogle 5th, McDaniel 6th, and Milligan 7th. And then I believe it'll be Joe Brown 8th. Now this will be exciting, ladies and gentlemen. I am going to opt to not take Robinson into the broadcast booth as he's got to focus hard here. I think we've got time. Join us in the booth. We've got Josh Robinson, number 23. Josh, you got a copy? Robinson 23, do you got a copy on the net?
Yep, you got me, James.
Yeah, we'll make this super brief because I know things are about to get hectic. Robinson, how nervous are you in this final restart that it's going to be a mad dash for the next round of Chase playoffs?
Oh, it's going to be chaotic for sure. We got, I think everyone in the top 5 is vying for a playoff spot right now, so it's going to be fun to watch.
Well, Robinson, we wish you the best of luck. Again, we're going to make this one super brief because this is about to get wild, but we're wishing you guys the best of luck out there.
Appreciate it, James. Hope we're putting on a good show for you.
Absolutely, my friend. That's Robinson, number 23 machine. He is going to be 2nd in scoring, so he'll be on the front row with Andrew Hess. It'll be Steve Thompson, Dwayne MacArthur, your 2nd row, and then Ogle and McDaniel, your 3rd row. But this is going to be hectic, ladies and gentlemen. You've got a whole lot of drivers battling for those remaining top 3 transfer spots. Robinson's already locked in, but he's going to look for another race win here to increase the old stats. Andrew Hess looking for a win he has not had since Sonoma on June 6th. Steve Thompson also looking to get back in the top spot after his dry spell starting I should say on June 20th and June 27th where he won 2 in a row. Now Robinson won last week, but you've also got Dwayne MacArthur who won at the Charlotte Roval. This is going to be wild. We're going to get him gridded up, double file for the last restart of the night, possibly the last restart of the night. As we're going to take a look, we do have 2 green-white checker attempts in the back pocket if these racers may need them today. But we've seen who has long-run pace. This is going to be kind of an absolute mad lad shootout. It's going to be 3 laps to go as they get to the line. I do not believe this counts as one of the green-white checker attempts. So we are not in overtime yet. But if we have a caution come out before the white flag flies here at Kansas, that will put us in overtime conditions, in which we will get 2 attempts. The pace car comes in. And the green flag flies once more. Steve Thompson looking to the inside line against Robinson. Tom Ogle also going to go to the inside line as well. Andrew Hess still out front and holding on to it. So now you've got Hess, Thompson, Ogle, Robinson, Brown, your top 5. Thompson gets a little bit squirrely there, maybe put the power down too much as he's going to look up the inside line along Hess going into turns 3 and 4. putting the power down up the number 67 Toyota Tundra. It'll be 2 laps left to go as they cross the line. Now it's Hess going to take over the race lead once more as he crosses the line. Thompson gets into Hess. Hess and Thompson go careen around. Thompson gets ejected off the infield. Does the caution come out? No caution, so now it's going to be Hess, Ogle, Brown, Robinson. Brown coming out of nowhere in the number 21 machine. He's up 10 spots. And now it's going to be Hess and Brown at the line. The white flag will fly, so this is for all the marbles. Joe Brown looking for, I believe, his first ever Metro Ford Cup Series win. Andrew Hess also in the mix. Tom Ogle, Josh Robinson, MacArthur, McDaniel. It's still anybody's guess here, as this is going to get a little bit chaotic going down the back stretch. This Joe Brown, Andrew Hess go side by side. Hess has the support of Ogle. Brown has the support of MacArthur on the inside line. Josh Robinson all on his own out on the outside line. Can it be? Joe Brown picks up his very first win, I believe, of the Metro Ford Cup Series. Andrew Hess second, Dwayne MacArthur third. That is a finish and a half, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. With his 22nd start here at the Metro Ford Cup Series, Joe Brown will pick up his very first win in the premier Metro Ford Cup Series. His highest finish before this was all the way back the season opener, February 14th, Valentine's Day, where he was the runner-up with a second place. But Joe Brown putting on the top spot here today as we get our victory lane photos. And then Joe Brown is going to burn it down in style here today. Let's ignore that bobbles. He tags the wall. He's not quite used to being up here yet. My, oh my, what a night. I definitely did not expect such a finish here. As Joe Brown, with an absolutely well-deserved victory burnout, picking up his very first win of the E-Metro Ford Cup Series. He has got to be ecstatic right now. And he paid for all the motor. He's going to use all the motor. And what a wild night. We're trying to get our drivers up here into victory lane. And we've got Dwayne MacArthur joining us in the 97 machine. Dwayne, what a night, my friend. Did you expect things to go down like they did? Or what was the expectations once we saw that final, or the only caution flag come out?
Yeah, it's almost exactly what I envisioned it was going to be like. I had a feeling we were going to get a late caution and it was going to come down to a restart like that. Once we did, my plan was just to kind of stay out of the way and just stay clean and try to maintain instead of risking it all. But got a good run and snuck back onto the podium. So,
well, Dwayne, my question now is, how do you predict the future? Because last night you always gave me a little bit of in-race trivia, and I mean, you called it at midnight. Race will be won on a late restart, I think. What was your thoughts and predictions that made that happen? Because that was spot on.
Yeah, it's just a Kansas thing. There's a lot of lanes here. There's a lot of racing. So as it gets down to the end of the race and the stakes are higher, people start racing a little bit more. I just figured something would happen just because it's not your typical track, and there definitely is multiple lanes here that can be used, and it's a little bit slick as well on exit, and just kind of the perfect storm for a late restart. I'm sure we'll see that in real life there with the Cup boys there. So,
well, Dwayne, it looked like maybe that late race caution really helped you out, moving back up on the podium and avoiding a little bit of carnage. So hopefully that'll help with the get into the next round of Chase playoffs. We got Martinsville next week. Is that a track you're excited for, or is that going to be a bloodbath out there?
Yeah, negative. Not typically, not overly excited for Martinsville. I'm just gonna go try to point my way in. I don't think I'll be competing for the win. My goal here, about halfway through the race, was just to stay ahead of Ogle. I came in, I think, a point ahead of him. And on the restart, it looked like he was gonna get me. So, I'm glad I got back in front of Ogle. I didn't give him points, but I think I lost some points to Hess. So yeah, just kind of playing the point game, staying clean, staying out of trouble, trying not to risk it all for something that's not worth it. So
Well, Dwayne, well said as always. Before I let you sign off, who's any friends, family, sponsors you want to give a shout out to here today?
yeah, just everybody here in the league. I want to give a big shout out to Joe Brown. That's a real good win. Miata all up front there, and couple guys in championship contention, and he took it from him. It's really impressive. So good to see Joe win, and everybody, all the other admins, everybody in the league that comes out, and of course to my sponsor, REG Customs. Thanks for supporting me, and to yourself too, James. You do a hell of a job here, so
Oh,
thanks.
always a great time, Dwayne. Congratulations on a hard-fought podium here today.
Thank you very much. We'll see you next week.
Yes, sir. That was Dwayne MacArthur finishing third. Now we've got Andrew Hess with the second place spot here today. Hess, what was your expectations coming tonight? It seemed like you had a great long run car, and then that caution kind of threw a wrench in everything.
Yeah, I usually run pretty good at Kansas, and I had a good game plan. And I figured once Josh got up to Steve that they would kind of start racing each other and maybe burn their stuff up, and then I'd be able to potentially capitalize. I didn't feel like I had the speed there on the short runs, and then when, Steve was kind of on Josh's door there. He touched the apron and kind of opened the door for me to slide on through. And then yeah, that caution I definitely didn't want, but then was able to capitalize on the restart and kind of get out front again.
Well, you had a great race. I mean, all the way through, you kept it clean. You guys were able to navigate traffic without too many worries or issues and put it up on the second spot after a great race tonight. I mean, did you expect to be up here on the podium coming into Kansas? This is a track you're comfortable at, or what was the expectations coming in here today?
Yeah, I expected to do well. I thought I'd do a little better than second. My car was pretty much trashed after the contact, so I just was trying to hang on. It's just kind of disappointing to have it come down to that. It seems like every time we run at Kansas, it's kind of a consistent thing right now. So something we got to deal with to work through, and hopefully do better next time at Kansas, I guess.
Now, Andrew, we go to Martinsville next week. How do you think that's going to play out with the chase rounds, with how tight the points are and how tight that track is? You think you're going to see drivers using that front bumper a little bit more?
I fully expect it. I mean, it's the same thing when you get to the playoffs. Everyone goes up, and then when you realize you only got a couple more turns to try to advance, that the thought process of driving clean kind of goes out the window sometimes. But it's natural, I guess.
Well, Andrew, we wish you the best of luck. A great run here tonight throughout the duration of the event. A hard-fought second. Before we let you sign off and go celebrate with the rest of the hooligans over at Team Miata, who would I give a shout-out to? Any friends, family, sponsors?
I'd still like to send a shout out to American Cancer Society for October Cancer Month. So if you have any disposable income that you feel like you could pass along to a good cause, I'd suggest taking a hard look at them and all the people that are survivors.
Well, Andrew, well said. Congratulations, my friend. Hope to see you do well at Martinsville. And again, once again, congrats on a great run here today.
Thanks, James. Good broadcast.
Thank you, sir. And up next, the man of the hour for the first time on the top spot here at the E-Metro Ford Cup Series. We've got Joe Brown in the 21 machine.
Hey.
Joe, don't hide the excitement, my friend. How's it feel to pick up that first win? You had a career best second at Daytona at the season opener, and then after a long time, finally getting on the top spot here today. I mean, what goes into the making to be able to bring it home here at the end of such a grueling race?
Honestly, just being at the right place at the right time. I mean, without that caution, I would have finished seventh, and I probably had a top 7 car to begin with. But just being in the right place at the right time.
Well, it seemed to have worked out well for you. I know you practice hard with the rest of the guys as far as pit strategy and tire management as well. How important was tire management here at Kansas with how it seemed like the times are really falling off after about the lap 20 or so mark?
I'm terrible at tire management. That's something that I need to learn, is just being consistent and just saving the tire over the course of the run. So, yeah, I mean, for me, it's really important.
Now, Joe, you talked about long runs, maybe not your specialty, but short runs, you obviously had the pace, especially in the closing lap here at Kansas. Do you think that's going to help you out at Martinsville next week, which could be punctuated by cautions and more short runs than we're used to seeing here at OBRL?
I feel like I'm decent at Martinsville, but for me, it's just if I don't get disqualified for everybody running into me, that's pretty much my luck at Martinsville.
Well, now, Joe, I think it's the first time I've had the pleasure of talking to you. I don't know how long you've been here with OBRL, but what attracted you to this league over everyone else and makes you want to come and run out every Sunday morning with the rest of the merry band of misfits?
I think the first thing that really drew me to this league is just the older generation, because I'm getting old myself. Granted, I'm only 39, but I couldn't hang with the younger people, and now I'm barely hanging with the old guys.
Well, Joe, well said, man. Congratulations on the first time in victory lane this season, up on the very top spot at least. I know it was very hard fought and very well deserved. Before we let you celebrate and go hang out with the rest of the Team Miata guys and drink pumpkin spice White Claws, who would you like to give a shout out to that's supporting you this season?
Really, just thank you to Team Miata. I mean, they've helped me throughout the season, and I'm seeing myself, getting better and better each race. So really, thank them.
Well done, Joe. Congratulations, man. We'll let you go celebrate, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
And that, my friends, will do it for the OBRL Metro Ford Cup Series here every Sunday morning, where Joe Brown picks up his first win with teammate Andrew Hess getting second and Dwayne MacArthur getting third. It was a good, clean race for the most part with only one caution, and it's going to be exciting next week at Martinsville to decide who makes it to the final round of Chase playoffs here, where we're only taking 4 more drivers. On behalf of emetro4.com, the Old Bastards Racing League, and Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, thank you all so much for tuning in. We hope you have a great Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening. Good morning, good evening, good night, and thank you so much. See you next week, everybody.